Chapter 1241, Pulling the Snake Out of Its Hole. Thailand, Dark Shaman Clan. Singluan was sitting cross-legged on a futon while holding a cell phone. Murderous intent filled his eyes after he heard Tang Xiu's words. He then replied, "Boss, although I'm the patriarch of Dark Shaman Clan, I've decided to follow you and will accept any of your decisions unconditionally." His stance and attitude were very much to Tang Xiu's satisfaction, and he slowly said, "I'm sure you're well aware of the feud between the Tang sect and the Celestial Wizard clan. I never planned to give up exterminating the Celestial Wizard clan. Therefore, I think your Dark Shaman clan had enough time to build up your power. It's time for your clan to go out and act. You can expect to have all the core members of my clan or even all of us to come out, boss." Singluan replied with all seriousness. "Just point your finger and we'll move and fight for you. We've developed our strength for quite some time, and I assure you that the Dark Shaman clan has already changed. Even my father won't go against my decision." "There's no need to dispatch all your strength," Tang Xiu replied. "Just take out all the experts in Dark Shaman clan and head to Saipan. Stay there and wait for my next order." "Understood." Singluan complied and then hung up. Soon after, his figure appeared on the roof. Then, 5 figures flickered from a distance and emerged before Singluan in a flash. "Patriarch." 5 vigorous old men greeted and in salute. "Inform all the clan's elders to convene for a meeting." Singluan issued an order in a deep voice. "Our clan is about to face a life and death battle. Tell them to put aside everything they're currently occupied with." "Affirmative." The 5 old men exchanged glances. They had no idea about the urgent matter Singluan was talking about. However, they had sworn their loyalty to Singluan and accepted the order without hesitation and quickly flashed into the distance. Whoosh! 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 After several minutes, flickering figures kept coming fast and then stood in the large courtyard. They were all elders of the Dark Shaman clan, the most powerful group of experts in the clan. The cultivation technique they practiced came from Tang Xiu through Singluan, plus the cultivation resources they obtained from trading demon stone with Tang Xiu had made them much stronger than a year ago. Some of whom even had their strength rapidly soar by 10-fold or more. After half an hour, all the higher-ups of Dark Shaman clan appeared in front of Singluan, except for his father. The Dark Shaman clan had a total of 14 elders, and their cultivation was comparable to experts at the Golden Core stage. "Patriarch, the news we received mentioned about an urgent thing related to the life and death of the clan?" "What exactly is it?" the only female, whose silver hair fluttered by the wind and wore a red robe, asked. She didn't look to have aged, and her facial feature looked like she was in her 30s instead, along with her alluring figure. Instead of answering, Singluan narrowed his eyes and asked, "Where's my father?" Several elders exchanged dismayed glances and hesitated. Finally, Singman said, "He left our clan after you entered seclusion, Patriarch. He hasn't returned yet. He naturally harbors some resentment since he was ousted from the Patriarch seat despite being in his prime." Singluan sneered. "If my guess is correct, he's still concerned about my elder brother, and staying here kind of makes him sullen. Just let him go since he chose to leave then. But he's no longer an elder of the Dark Shaman clan henceforth." The 14 elders were secretly shocked by the sudden decision. However, recalling the dramatic changes the Dark Shaman clan had gone through after Singluan took over the Patriarch seat, they finally accepted the decision. "All right, can you now elaborate about what exactly is going on, Patriarch?" asked Singman. "It's about the Celestial Wizard clan," Singluan explained. "They're preparing to take action on our clan, and I just got the news about it from Tang Xiu. A retired elder of the Celestial Wizard clan, Helios Luna, is currently negotiating with him. He wants cultivators of the Tang sect to stop aiding our clan." In that instant, the complexions of all 14 elders of the Dark Shaman clan greatly changed and looked angry. Some who had a short fuse even threw out curses. That damn celestial wizard clan persecuted our ancestors and only very few survived back then. Our clan has just barely recovered a bit of vitality after so many years, but these bastards never had the intention to let us off. Why the hell should we fear them? The Dark Shaman clan is no longer a weak coward that can be trampled by anyone. Since the Celestial Wizard clan wants to exterminate us, then let's give it right back at them. I just studied some powerful secret arts. I'm gonna verify these arts with their blood. The Celestial Wizard clan is indeed stronger than our clan, but the strength of our entire clan has also been progressing rapidly. Since they are now bearing their fangs, then let's cut off their fangs and break their dog legs. Let's throw it back at them, patriarch. For our Dark Shaman clan and for revenge for our ancestors. Kill. While observing the 14 elders' faces, Singluan sneered. Do you really think the current strength of our clan can contend with the Celestial Wizard clan? Even if we can't, we must make them pay a painful price, an elder cried out in a deep voice. I understand the fury harbored in your hearts, elders. I do, Singluan indifferently said. I can tell you even I myself am even more furious than you. But anger alone cannot solve the problem. The reason I summoned you here is to discuss the measure of how to inflict the heaviest blow to the Celestial Wizard clan, and minimize the loss. Suddenly, the 14 elders of the Dark Shaman clan fell into silence. They were filled with fury just now and clamoring to vent their anger. But at the end of the day, they were also well aware that the clan didn't have the capital to rival the Celestial Wizard clan even though the clan's strength had progressed greatly during this period. Singman thought for a while and said, Patriarch, I'm sure you've already made a decision since you summoned us here. It is you who brought our clan to our current strength. Therefore, we also hope that you can lead us to inflict heavy losses to the Celestial Wizard clan, and even destroy them. That's right, we'll obey your command. You're the biggest contributor in the clan. Just give us your command, Patriarch. We've given our loyalty to you. Give us the order and we'll head to battle. Nodding contentedly, Singluan then said, that being the case, summon all the masters in the clan. We'll sneak into Saipan and stay low for a while. Also, you should know about the deep feud between Tang Sect and the Celestial Wizard clan. Therefore, Tang Sect's sovereign Tang Xiu has decided to launch a campaign against the Celestial Wizard clan. Our clan will cooperate with Tang Sect. I'm sure those Celestial Wizard bastards will definitely be scared senseless. Cooperation. The 14 elders were ecstatic since they all knew about Tang Xiu and the Tang Sect. Since Tang Xiu was going to attack the Celestial Wizard clan, it was naturally not an issue to them. On the one hand, it could not only solve the threat posed by the Celestial Wizard clan but also a chance to inflict a heavy blow to the enemy, and get revenge for their ancestors. All in all, it was a great thing since they could solve everything with one move. Sunny Island. After calling Singluan, Tang Xiu returned to the front of Helios Luna again and indifferently said, I've called the elders of my sect and talked about your conditions. I don't know what they will decide for now. Perhaps they are discussing it now. Helios Luna's expression eased and he smilingly said, all right. No problem. Tang Xiu coldly hummed and headed straight to the altar and sat cross-legged, waiting quietly for Qin Zhizhong to completely learn and operate the secret art. Whoosh. 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 Figures flickered from the liner to the shore. Of the more than 200 people from Sacred Flame, several of them were killed in battle. None of the Tang Sect disciples died, and only one of them was lightly injured. Helios Luna slightly frowned and killing intent flashed in his eyes after seeing the people of Sacred Flame. He turned to Tang Xiu and sneered. You pulled quite a stunt, Tang Xiu. Just like the adage in your country, do to others as you would have them do to you, huh? I really never expected you to realize the line skillfully and use these money-hungry Sacred Flame bastards against me in turn. Shut the fuck up, asshole, the big black man angrily yelled. Helios Luna glanced at Tang Xiu, who looked indifferent, before flashing to the black man instantly. His speed was extremely fast and only took him a blink of an eye to appear in front of him. The moment he transformed into a miniature version of a black dragon, he struck a heavy blow to the black man's chest. Bam! Crack! The black man's chest bones caved and he crazily spurted out a mouthful of blood as his body flew upside down to the back like a snapped kite. It was just one strike, but the black man was instantly killed. More than 200 members of Sacred Flame were shocked. Little did they expect that the strongest among them wasn't even able to fight back and was insta-killed by Helios Luna. Kill him! Tens of masters closest to Helios Luna bolted fast while roaring, believing that no matter how powerful Helios Luna was, he wouldn't be able to withstand these many people attacking him. After all, even ants were able to kill an elephant due to their numbers. Ha! A bunch of ants. Contempt and disdain flashed in Helios Luna's eyes. He chanted a strange hex as a black knife suddenly appeared in his hand out of thin air and instantly darted toward the attackers. 100-meter blade light flashed and slashed forward from the 30 centimeters black knife. The tens of Sacred Flames experts that stormed over were all slashed, creating a rain of blood and leaving their corpses scattered on the ground in halves. Tang Xiu, sitting cross-legged on the altar, suddenly opened his eyes at this moment and yelled. All of you, stop. Don't blame me for being ruthless if any of you makes another move. Chapter 1242, Absorbing Memories. Helios Luna turned to look at the cold-faced Tang Xiu with surging killing intent. He would have moved to kill Tang Xiu directly if he wasn't perfectly aware that he was not Tang Xiu's match. Tang Xiu, I don't care if you move forward to stop them, but I'll completely decimate them if they dare provoke me again. Tang Xiu faintly nodded in response. He then looked at the remaining over 100 members of Sacred Flame and indifferently said, You guys are way too weak and like ants in his eyes. You will be the ones to die even if all of you move to attack him. If you want revenge, get stronger in the future or contact the experts in your organization. I forbid you all to make any moves again for now. The remaining members of Sacred Flame felt vexed and frustrated. They also realized that Tang Xiu was right. Given their strength, wanting to kill Helios Luna was just stupid and foolish. Many of them even felt grateful to Tang Xiu since they would likely be killed quickly if Tang Xiu didn't speak up. Suddenly, everyone was silent even though most of their eyes were lingering on Tang Xiu and Helios Luna. Early in the morning, the first wisp of sunlight broke free from the shackles of the horizon at sea and spilled the light on the earth. Suddenly, Chen on the altar opened his eyes. A crimson light flashed from his eyes as the array pattern on the altar glowed and radiated blood-red light. The bloodstream flowed backward along the lines of the array and flowed back into Chen Jizhong's body, while the 13 blades that impaled him were suddenly ejected and flew. Buzz. Helios Luna, who was sitting cross-legged on a bluestone, suddenly had a drastic change in expression. Disbelief overflowed in his eyes as he looked at Chen Jizhong on the altar in shock. At the same time, he noticed that his body seemed to be encircled by 5 celestial bodies' energy that pulled him to the altar nearly an instant. What in the hell is going on? Utterly dazed and confused, Helios Luna never dreamed that such a bizarre phenomenon would unfold. The power that bound him was terrifyingly dreadful and rendered his every effort to break free futile, no matter how hard he tried. He could only helplessly watch as he was pulled to the altar. He tried to speak, but he then noticed that he no longer had control over his body. Aside from his eyes, he was devoid of strength to move any parts of his body. Tang Xiu, who stood next to the altar, was immediately excited upon seeing Helios Luna's situation. A Mitsubishi Army knife appeared in his hand as he dashed forward fast and instantly appeared in front of him. The cold blade flashed and cut open bleeding wounds on the man's body. Blood kept splashing from Helios Luna's body and scattered on the lines on the altar and continued flowing towards Chen Jizhong. In just a few minutes, all the blood from Helios Luna flew out. He would have died already if it wasn't for his very powerful strength. Yin-Yang reverse, life and soul insignia. Chen Zhizhong floated up. Two bloodstream pillars rose from the altar and quickly penetrated his body through his feet. As a group of colorful light beads floated from Helios Luna, Chen Zhizhong quickly sucked the beads into his body according to the secret art Tang Xiu taught him. Roar! A beast-like roar burst out from his mouth. His ghastly pale face instantly turned red and bean-sized drops of sweat slid down his cheek before he passed out the instant after. The two blood pillars didn't stop flowing even though Chen Zhizhong fainted, and the blood from the bodies of tens of sacred flames experts killed by Helios Luna flew on the ground and were quickly sucked into the altar. It quickly gathered into the blood pillars and drilled into Chen Zhizhong's body. Time fleeted by. In just half an hour, all the blood within a kilometer was completely absorbed by Chen Zhizhong. At this time, Tang Xiu quickly cut his own wrist and splashed his blood on the altar. He suddenly turned to the members of Sacred Flame and shouted with a heavy voice, "All of you, take your blood out and splash it on the altar. I'll give you $1 million in compensation." Quickly. Over 100 members of Sacred Flame exchanged glances. They briefly discussed before rushing to the altars and imitated Tang Xiu to quickly cut the blood vessels of their wrists, and sprayed the blood on the altar, with the Tang sect disciples also following suit. Immediately after, two bloodstreams that covered Chen Zhizhong's feet slowly climbed up to his bare legs, waist, abdomen, and then forehead. In just half a minute, the blood had fully covered Chen Zhizhong and made him look like a blood man. A sharp look flashed in Tang Xiu's eyes, and he ordered again in a deep voice, "Go and bring all the bodies you've killed before. I'll give you an extra $10 million. Hurry. That's a lot of money." Figures kept flickering and rushed towards the seaside. 5+ minutes after, over 100 people of Sacred Flame returned with bodies in tow. Each of them brought at least 2 bodies, and some even rushed about in the surroundings and brought 3 or 4 bodies. "Take the blood out and spray it on the altar." Tang Xiu shouted aloud and then watched them dissect the bodies. As a large amount of blood was sprayed, the sanguine light that covered Chen Zhizhong turned thicker while his aura was getting stronger. Soul purification spell. Tang Xiu kept making seals with his hands and patted the runes created into Chen Zhizhong's body. Soon after, Chen Zhizhong woke up from his coma. When he saw the scene in front of him, his heart trembled before he quickly focused on himself. This. Chen Zhizhong was frightened upon realizing what he found. He could feel violent blood and life force surging in his body. The enormous blood force even began to transform into his own power and crazily inundated his meridians, before pouring into his dantian. Golden Core Stage. Nascent Soul Stage. Spirit Formation Stage. After absorbing all the blood and energy, Chen Zhizhong finally broke through to the late stage of body integration. These 7 colorful beads. With his spiritual sense, Chen Zhizhong finally realized the existence of these colorful light beads. The moment he used his spiritual sense to penetrate it, his body instantly trembled as a huge flux of memories frantically flooded his sea of knowledge. Arg! Chen Zhizhong screamed and passed out again. Tang Xiu stood beside the altar and looked at the fainted Chen Zhizhong. A look of happiness flashed in his eyes. The reason Chen Zhizhong fainted before was due to his weak willpower, but the passing out this time would bring him great benefits. It was, after all, memories. He may be able to endure if the memories were just from one person. But what he just absorbed was far more than that. The memories he absorbed was from Helios Luna, tens of Sacred Flames members, several hundreds of pirates, and those experts killed by Qi Nan. Boom. At this moment, Helios Luna's body exploded and turned into ashes before the sea breeze scattered them away. Along with it, his soul flew away into nothingness permanently. Tang Xiu then shifted to over 100 members of Sacred Flame and said in a deep voice, "Tell me. When will your Sacred Flame leader, Vulcan, come to see me?" Karen came to Tang Xiu and respectfully said, "We've already contacted Vulcan, Mr. Tang. He said that it will take him 3 days to reach Saipan. He will also bring a lot of experts of the organization by then. If so, you should depart first." Tang Xiu said, "There are many liners on this island, so you can pick one. Remember to let go of those hundreds of ordinary tourists. I forbid you to bully them on the way, and you can expect that I'll hunt you down for the rest of your lives should I find you guys commit it." Understood. These people nodded one after another. None of them dared go against Tang Xiu's will since Tang Xiu had saved their lives before. After the Sacred Flames members left, only 20+ disciples of Tang's sect remained, guarding and monitoring the altar in silence. Tang Xiu was also waiting for Qin Zhizhong to wake up. He never tried this secret art himself before and thus wanted to know how big was the benefit Qin Zhizhong could obtain from it. 7 days passed and Qin Zhizhong was still in a coma. Countless memories chaotically entangled in his sea of knowledge while his consciousness removed some of them and quickly absorbed some others. Finally, when he came back to reality, he opened his eyes and instantly appeared before Tang Xiu. He kneeled and respectfully called out, "I'm fine, master." Tang Xiu could sense the faint aura radiating from Qin Zhizhong and nodded with satisfaction. "Very good. You've unexpectedly taken this opportunity to improve your cultivation and breakthrough to the integration stage. You can say that only a handful of people in the Tang sect are more powerful than you. Anyways, what about your memory? Have it recovered already?" "I've restored all my memories, master," Qin Zhizhong said. "Further, my strength has also been increased with the breakthrough. Other than that, I can now control all the inheritance I received before, as well as the memories of these people. There are many secrets I know of now. Kowtow now, then." Tang Xiu looked happy and ordered, "You're now Tang Xiu's direct disciple." Qin Zhizhong stared blankly for a moment before he looked ecstatic with joy. He firmly knocked his head on the ground before Tang Xiu. He then cut his wrist and handed it in front of Tang Xiu, respectfully saying, "Master, there's no tea here, so disciple replaces it with my own blood to respect you." Tang Xiu opened his mouth and inhaled the blood. Then, he nodded and smilingly said, "By the way, there's something I have in mind, so answer me some questions. What exactly was Helios Luna's status in the Celestial Wizard clan? Is he really a retired Supreme Elder just like he said?" Chapter 1243, They're All Damned. Recalling a bit from the memories, Qin Zhizhong respectfully said, "Helios Luna was indeed the Supreme Elder of Celestial Wizard clan, master. I saw his memory and his strength is among the top 3 in the entire clan. Further, he established the Nonagon bulwark on these 9 islands long ago, but only came here recently to make use of it." "I see." Tang Xiu placed the Celestial Wizard clan a bit higher now. After all, Helios Luna's cultivation was comparable to a spirit formation stage expert. If it wasn't for the fierce immortal method he imparted to Qin Zhizhong, he would be the only one who could take action to get rid of him. There were only a few disciples of Tang's sect who had reached spirit formation stage, and much fewer who could kill him. You just absorbed the memory of many people. Can you pull those Celestial Wizard clan out and exterminate them if I make you plan the operation to take over the overall situation? Tang Xiu asked. I don't know much about the overall strength of our Tang sect while considering the big picture of the overall situation, Master, Qin Zhizhong wryly replied. At best, I can only strategize the operation against the Celestial Wizard clan, but the result might not be what you expect. Tang Xiu nodded in response and fell into thoughts for a few minutes before asking again, what other findings this clan has on me? Do they have some other plans against others around me? Qin Zhizhong nodded silently and said they only sent 3 people to secretly ambush Mu Weining, Kong Xia, and Tang Yunpeng. There's no one else but them. Go back to China immediately and get rid of these 3 people from Celestial Wizard clan, Tang Xiu ordered immediately. Return at once after you deal with them. I've prepared the bait to pull the Celestial Wizard clan out. Staring blankly, Chen Zhizhong quickly asked, "What kind of bait is it, master?" "The Celestial Wizard clan wants to get rid of the Dark Shaman clan, so I ordered the latter to send all their experts to Saipan where I'm going to meet with them later. After this, I'm going to look for an island in the Pacific Ocean as the site for the decisive battle." Chen Zhizhong's eyes lit up and replied, "Master, from Helios Luna's memory, the Celestial Wizard clan is indeed preparing to take action against the Dark Shaman clan. Recently, the hitmen of various organizations in the world have suspended the pursuit and hunt of this clan, since $100 million you put as a bounty has been paid out. However, the measure only inflicted minor losses to them. This clan has a quite deep heritage, particularly the 12 great elders of this clan, all of whom have the strength comparable to the nascent soul stage experts. The current Tang sect is not what it used to be." Tang Xiu narrowed his eyes and sneered. "If the Celestial Wizard clan has the balls to crawl out of their nest, we can make them stay in the ocean forever. This is indeed a once-in-a-lifetime chance, master." Chen Zhizhong grinned. "I think this Nonagon bulwark would be a good place. If we use Helios Luna's means to send a message to the Celestial Wizard clan and make them believe that the Dark Shaman clan has been directed here, I believe it would be easy for us to obliterate them here." "What means?" Tang Xiu's expression slightly shifted and hurriedly asked. "Using the wizard seal," Chen Zhizhong answered. Tang Xiu was silent for a while and then said slowly, "All right. I'll assign some men to send you back to China immediately and deal with those Celestial Wizard clan's experts lurking around Muweiniing, Kong Xia, and my uncle. Further, I'll notify all the Tang sect's disciples in the pocket world to give their best to break through to the nascent soul stage, and then gather with you in Shanghai. You're to return immediately after solving the issues in Shanghai." "Then I'll take my leave now," Chen Zhizhong said. A long while after. After watching the liner boarded by Chen Zhizhong leave, Tang Xiu took the remaining dozen disciples of Tang sect and began to wipe out the remaining islands of Nonagon Bulwark. 99% of the inhabitants of other islands were ordinary people, but it still took 4 days for them to completely clean up the 9 islands. Doing all this leaves the smell of blood in my hands. After returning to the 5th sunny island, Tang Xiu stood on the beach, raised his hands and slowly lamented. "On the contrary, I feel that the smell of blood is a wonderful feeling," Sect Master Qi Nan interjected. "It makes me feel that I'm saving countless pitiful ordinary people." Tang Xiu turned to look at her and suddenly grinned. "I never thought that you would actually feel so. That's great. You've been progressing rapidly recently, and your state of mind has improved a lot. If you keep cultivating hard, maybe the immortal world will no longer stay tranquil because of your arrival." A longing look painted Qi Nan's face and she asked, "What kind of existences are there in the immortal world, master?" "The immortal world is as beautiful as a fairyland on the surface and there are countless indigenous inhabitants there," Tang Xiu said indifferently. "They live lives with many similarities with human beings on Earth in ancient times. And ordinary people live a peaceful and serene life there." "And in reality?" asked Qi Nan. Tang Xiu's expression became serious and he added in a deep voice, "The real immortal world itself is very brutal and ruthless, more than you can imagine. Those who want to become powerhouses must go through constant battles either with other humans, demons, monsters, or spirits. Intrigues and outwitting each other are just common, and death is looming over your life at all times. Only the strong who can survive, whereas the weak are either enslaved or killed. It's a place where avarice and ruthlessness prevail. You must be prepared to die at all times if you have neither backers nor strength." Qi Nan's breathing became much heavier. Tang Xiu only gave her a brief description, but she could still feel that the immortal world was akin to hell. Tang Xiu shook his head secretly and no longer wanted to recall other various things in the immortal world. Then, he asked, "By the way, I haven't yet asked you about something. Hao Lei called you out to Shanghai to help her before. Why did you run back to Jingmen Island though? Is there nothing else that keeps you busy in Shanghai?" Qinan hollowly chuckled and said, Sect Master, our auction house has become famous all over the world since that auction. Countless clients around the world entrusted our auction house to auction their collection. There were too many trivial things and I felt bored after being busy for a while, so I used soft and hard tactics to Howley so I can have a vacation for some time before returning to Nine Dragons Island, and preparing to go into seclusion for a while. But then I came across this incident. Speaking of which, my luck has been rather bad recently. Do you like killing, though? Asked Tang Xiu. I never liked killing, Sect Master. Qinan shook her head and said, but I always loved to temper myself on the edge of life and death. You've mentioned before that only by tempering oneself on the edge of life and death can one become more and more powerful. Besides, such battles rarely occur on Earth. It's really not easy to encounter such battles given the current peaceful society. Well, of course, there's an exception, and that is by following you. That's why I hope I can always follow you. Tang Xiu could only force a wry smile inwardly. He had heard that many people wanted to keep following him. Previously, it was Mo Ao, then Tang and Chen Xiaohua also expressed it a while ago. Did they really think that they would keep encountering such fights by following him in order to constantly temper themselves on the edge of life and death? The thought made Tang Xiu suddenly recall Chen Xiaohua and he said, contact Chen Xiaohua and ask him where he is now. If he's on Nine Dragons Island, tell him to bring all the experts of Tang sect who have reached nascent soul stage here immediately. I know some of them have stayed in the pocket world for some time, so there should be at least a dozen of them who have broken through to the nascent soul stage. Understood. I'll contact him right away, Qinan replied and quickly walked away. 2 days later. The Dark Shaman clan's experts had all arrived in Sunny Island. Those who went to China had also dealt with the experts of Celestial Wizard clan lurking around Kong Xia, Mu Weinying, and Tang Yunpeng. They then gathered with more than 20 disciples of Tang sect who had reached nascent soul stage and finally came here. Early in the morning. As the first wisp of sunlight came out from the horizon of the sea surface, 4 liners appeared in the waters of Sunny Island. As the liner docked, the alluring Karen followed behind an old man in a black robe and wearing a black mask. They then jumped off one of the liners and came to Tang Xiu. Mr. Tang, this is Vulcan, the leader of Sacred Flame. Karen looked at Tang Xiu with a bit of awe. After all, Helios Luna was a fearsome expert, yet he just died due to Tang Xiu's scheme, creating a deep sense of dread in her heart when facing Tang Xiu. Tang Xiu observed at the black-robed Vulcan in front and calmly spoke, I'm pleased to be able to meet the supreme leader of Sacred Flame. Since Mr. Vulcan has arrived and accepted my commission, then allow me to get to the point. Our Sacred Flame name warrants a good reputation and we accept any mission as long as the clients can pay, replied Vulcan with a rather hoarse voice. May I know what kind of mission you'd like us to accomplish by issuing the 9th grade Sacred Flame order? I want to destroy the Celestial Wizard clan, Tang Xiu said. I'm sure the Sacred Flame has learned about the feud between me and this clan. Mr. Tang, I'd like to tell you first that it would be difficult for the Sacred Flame to completely kill all the members of Celestial Wizard clan, even if we dispatch all of our members. Further, the Sacred Flame will likely to suffer heavy losses even though we're able to inflict heavy blows to this clan. I don't think you understand what I mean. My side has a feud with the Celestial Wizard clan, so your side is naturally not alone to get rid of them. The Dark Shaman clan is my ally, and I also have a number of experts under me. At that time, all 3 parties will work together to lure the experts of Celestial Wizard clan and then will collaborate to exterminate them. That would be no problem then. Vulcan gave it a thought for a moment before nodding. Anyway, the experts from Sacred Flame shouldn't be just these on the 4 ships. You should have a lot more experts, yes? Asked Tang Xiu. May I ask when can the rest of you arrive? They should be arriving in Nonagon Bulwark within 3 days, Vulcan said. Given your words, I think Mr. Tang already has a specific battle plan for their placement. Chapter 1244, Wizard Ancestor. Dark clouds covered the sky and heavy rain poured down to the turbulent sea. Only the occasional bolts of lightning that cut through the sky could bring light to the vast sea. However, a fleet of ships was braving the wind and breaking the waves to contend with the natural might of heaven. Crack. Boom. A flash of lightning broke through the thick dark clouds as if tearing a hole in the sky and violently bolted down to the bottom. The light spread out for a moment, revealing an old man in a black robe on the bow deck of the liner. The man was holding a golden staff and slowly looked up at the sky. Illuminated by the light, his eyes became jet black as though they were bottomless black holes. Jet black smoke flew out of his body and fully shrouded his body in the dark smog the moment the light was gone. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of leather boots stepping on the deck came from behind the dark mist. A 2.2 meters giant man waved his bulking right hand that held a fan-like giant axe powerfully. He then looked at the black mist and said with a muffled voice, "Wizard ancestor, Elder Black Raven ordered me to report to you that we'll reach the island where those traitors hide in 2 hours. The place is secretly under control of Grand Elder Helios Luna." After a long time, the black fog gradually dissipated and the figure of a black-robed old man appeared. A dignified look appeared on his aged, wrinkled face as he murmured to himself. Thunder annihilations bolted down from the sky and broke down the wind and waves. I can't even see the omens of any cause and effect of the future. Is there someone blocking the heavenly secret and making me unable to divine what's going to happen? A look of disdain crept up on the fierce face of the hulking man. He snorted and gruffly said, "Wizard ancestor, even if you cannot divine it, any demons or souls won't be able to withstand the power of my axe. Even if our enemies are deities, we can still kill them all the same as long as we are strong enough." The black-robed old man slowly turned his head and observed the giant man for a while and then smirked. "You're right. No schemes and tricks will work as long as we're strong enough. As long as we are ruthless enough, the warriors of Celestial Wizard Clan will still behead those enemies of ours and use them as offerings to heaven." The giant man obviously rarely received praises since his sturdy thick arm scratched his head and gruffly grinned. "Well, I just said the line you told me before, Wizard ancestor. Besides, all the elites of our clan have been dispatched now. We absolutely can obliterate such a small dark shaman lineage easily. But I just don't understand, why did you waste your time and energy for something like fortune-telling?" The complexion of the black-robed old man changed and he solemnly replied, "Bear in mind that no matter what time, regardless of the environment and the enemies we're facing, all of us must go all out. Only death awaits those who move forward with carelessness." The giant man thought about it for a moment and then nodded. "Your words are reasonable. I'll remember them well, Wizard ancestor. We'll be able to slaughter and cut off the heads of those dark shaman lineage rebels in another 2 hours. The black-robed old man no longer spoke, but there was some haze of recollection in his eyes. The dark shaman lineage was actually a pitiful lineage of his clan. If they just stayed in Thailand without making any moves, they could have just lived their lives and wouldn't be enemies of the clan. However, they found traces of dark shaman lineage in the previous crisis that befell the Celestial Wizard Clan, and the chance that they were the perpetrator was high. Therefore, killing them and utterly obliterating them was a must so as to prevent future troubles. Nonagon Bulwark, the first island. As the fleet approached the island, only 2 liners accelerated and docked at the port. Helios Luna, the Grand Elder of Celestial Wizard Clan, a powerhouse comparable to nascent soul experts, quickly led the tens of Celestial Wizard Clan's experts and bolted to the shore. His gaze quickly shifted to a group of tense and nervous-looking big men armed with guns. "Are you the inhabitants of Nonagon Bulwark?" Helios Luna condescendingly asked aloud. The leader of the group, who held a light machine gun, glanced over Helios Luna's group. He hesitated for a moment and then replied aloud, "Yes, Nonagon Bulwark is our home." "Who are you, people? Why did you come here all of a sudden? Did your leader not tell you that we're from Celestial Wizard Clan?" Huey Luna inquisitively asked. Or do you mean you're not Nonagon Bulwark's men at all and on the side of the Dark Shaman lineage rebels? We don't know anything about the Celestial Wizard clan or Dark Shaman clan. This is our private island, and whoever intrudes our island without consent is our enemy. Leave quickly. This is a warning. The big man raised his gun's muzzle and shouted aloud. Huey Luna frowned and gave a command to a man next to him, who immediately returned to the ship. After reporting the situation to the wizard ancestor of the clan, he received the order to determine the identity of the other party. After receiving a reply, Huey Luna immediately looked at the dozen armed men and shouted, "Your leader is our people. We can only kill you if you dare oppose us. Contact your leader if you don't believe me, and he will tell you." The big man hesitated for a moment before taking out his mobile phone and dialed a cell number. Soon after, he put down his cell phone, wore a cautious look and obsequiously smiled. "We had no idea that you are family members of our leader. Please forgive our rude and offending attitude. I hope. Since we're on the same, I hope you can speak some good words about us to our leader." Huey Luna shot him an indifferent look. His expression, however, slightly shifted the moment after and instantly unleashed a magical force, instantly beheaded the tens of the men behind the big man ruthlessly. The instant after, his dark mist-shrouded right hand grabbed the big man's neck and fiercely asked, "Who are you? You're not the usual pirates of Nonagon Bulwark." Fear painted the big man's face. He could be said to be a powerful expert himself, but he didn't expect that he didn't have any strength to even fight this old man back. But after he recalled Vulcan's order, he steeled his heart and instantly wielded a dagger and powerfully stabbed Huey Luna's heart. Humph. Huey Luna exerted more power to his fingers and directly cut off the big man's neck before the dagger stabbed him, and then kicked the man's body away. Land on the island. I suspect this island has been completely occupied by those Dark Shaman lineage villains. Move and kill all the enemies you find here. Huey Luna issued an order without hesitation. The first island. The second island. The third island. In just a few hours, tens of masters from Sacred Flame on the 3 islands were all killed, whereas several disciples of Tang sect quietly fled the island and boarded a speedboat from the other side of the island to the 4th island. The fleet then gave chase. Tang Xiu stood on the shore of the 5th island and looked at the dozen liners sailing and approaching in the distance. Killing intent loomed in his eyes while 62 experts of Tang sect were lining up by his side. The weakest among them was at the early stage of nascent soul, but several of them had broken through the spirit formation stage. Singluan, our Vulcan and the rest of Sacred Flame's members he led already on the 4th island? Standing beside Tang Xiu, Singluan nodded silently and then said, "Originally, my Dark Shaman clan was to be arranged on the 4th island with the Sacred Flame and stationed there together. I never thought that Vulcan would so arrogant and refuse to work with us. However, he promised that he'll withdraw from the 4th island to the 6th island after they have inflicted heavy damage to the Celestial Wizard clan. Even if it means that they've completed their 9th grade Sacred Flame mission, they will bring his group to support us if we're unable to contend with the Celestial Wizard clan." Tang Xiu narrowed his eyes and sneered in response. Causing heavy damage to the Celestial Wizard clan? What a wishful thinking. Do they think they can show off without our people there? Humph. Tangguang and Tangan, you both rush to the 4th island and monitor the Sacred Flames situation, one in the open and one in the dark. Let them all die since they want to be cannon fodder. I'm going there too, Singluan interjected. The Celestial Wizard clan's sole purpose is to kill my Dark Shaman clan, to begin with. They will realize that this is a trap if there's no one from my clan on the 4th island. Tang Xiu gave it a thought for a moment and then nodded. You're right. In this case, you should also head over there quickly in person. Do remember not to get engaged with them. There are some powerful ones among them. You only need to expose yourself to the Celestial Wizard clan after the battle nearly reaches the late stage and then retreat immediately. I'll wait for you here. Singluan nodded and smiled. Well, just wait here to close the net, boss. Back to the fourth island. Several liners stopped by the shore and many shadows flickered and moved lightning fast to the island. In just 4+ minutes, over 1,000 experts from the Celestial Wizard clan landed on the island. Kill. A rainbow-like saber light split out of the distant forested hill. The dozen or so Celestial Wizard clan experts who had just reached the edge of the woods didn't have time to avoid it, and were directly killed by 100-meter-long saber light. The next moment, the experts of Sacred Flame Organization rushed out of the dense woods, numbering in the thousands but moving without any formation. Enemies coming. Kill them all. Helios Luna dashed out of the crowd of Celestial Wizard clan, avoiding the violent and powerful saber slash, and instantly appeared in front of Vulcan, who rushed over. You're not from Dark Shaman clan, are you? Helios Luna exchanged moves and clashed with Vulcan, who was fully shrouded by flame, for a moment. But Helios Luna was sent flying upside down after receiving Vulcan's blow and left behind a few bloody veils of mist, and the smell of blood in the air. Chapter 1245, Cannon Fodders. The Celestial Wizard clan's experts never dreamed that they would encounter practitioners and ability users of various special abilities. These people came from all races and various countries with different cultivation systems. Is this still killing and exterminating the Dark Shaman clan? How come we must fight against these people for no reason? Could it be that these people are all foreign aides from the Dark Shaman clan? But these people don't look like they are cultivators, nor are they subordinates of that young man surnamed Tang from China, do they? However, after fighting for 10 minutes, the experts from Celestial Wizard clan noticed that most of these people only had average strength, even though their number nearly reached 10,000 people. The strongest among them was probably at the spirit formation stage, and there were only 2 people comparable to the nascent soul stage. It was still a chasm of comparison compared to the quality of the Celestial Wizard clan's ranks. We can kill to our heart's contents here. The elders and experts of Celestial Wizard clan similarly had this idea and thus went all out when unleashing their power. Constantly conjuring magical wizardry art, they kept mowing and killing members of Sacred Flame Organization. Kill them all and the $10 billion are ours. Vulcan was also aware of the gap of strength between 2 sides, but he didn't care about it. First of all, he had the advantage in number, which was more than 10 times that of the enemy. Even if they were to lose a number of people, he could still gather as many experts with $10 billion. Money is paramount, that was the one and only creed of Sacred Flame. Men would die for fortune as beasts would for food. For the sake of obtaining the $10 billion reward, all members of Sacred Flame turned into a frenzy, many of whom had the idea to perish with the enemy. Thus, they forced the enemies to keep retreating and inflicted heavy damage and killed many of them. At this moment, the Sacred Flame side seized the initiative with their current momentum and gained the upper hand. The fight between 2 sides escalated into a frenzied and frantic battle. Human life was just worthless at this moment, and the blood of those who still lived boiled, eyes turned bloodshot and incited their primal savageness. On the 5th island, Tang Shou sat quietly in a garden house while watching the surveillance video on the display that gave him a clear situation of the ongoing battle on the 4th island. What made him feel relieved was that Singluan and some experts of Dark Shaman clan he led there didn't directly join the battle, and hid in the distance while observing the killing scene via a high-powered telescope. The Celestial Wizard clan will suffer heavy blows on the 4th island, it seems. Standing behind Tang Shou, Tang Guang commented, and a smile climbed up on his handsome face. Tang Shou glanced at him and lightly replied, "Don't jump to conclusions before things are clear. There still are variables you need to analyze even if you make any speculations. The present battle situation where the Sacred Flame has at least 10,000 experts. They may bring great damage to the Celestial Wizard clan if they do fight with all their strength. But do you think this bunch of motley crews whose creed, money is supreme, really have what it takes to contend with the highly united celestial wizard clan? But even ants can kill elephants with their numbers, Grandmaster Tang Guang argued. The sacred flame has more experts, at least 10 times greater than that of the celestial wizard clan. With such an advantage in numbers, even if they are defeated, the celestial wizard clan wouldn't have it better either, right? Striking power is indeed very important in the war, but momentum on the battlefield is just as important, Tang Xiu explained. Members of the Sacred Flame are now fighting with full strength due to being stimulated by money. But as their losses get worse and worse, they will never take money into account again. They are also a rational bunch and understand that it's worthless to have so much money if they die. With such a thought in mind, their momentum will gradually decline. By then, only death will await them. Tang Guang gave it a thought for a while and felt that Tang Xiu's reasonings were sound. However, he wore a puzzled expression and asked, "Why do I feel that you have some kind of resentment towards these sacred flame people, Grandmaster? They obviously are our ally in this cooperation, but why don't you order us to get into action?" They are the culprits who abducted Chen Zhizhong. Tang Xiu sneered. What they believe is money. They will work and serve whoever gives them money, and the one who hired them to abduct Chen Zhizhong is the Celestial Wizard clan. I already spent $15 billion to hire them to kill these Celestial Wizard clan's people. It's just a business deal, so why can't I make them be cannon fodder at this time to kill some Celestial Wizard clan's experts for us? Cannon fodder? Everyone present was touched, especially Chen Zhizhong, who also stood behind in the crowd. Prior to this, he didn't understand why his master Tang Xiu would hire Sacred Flames people. After all, the culprits who severely injured and abducted him until he was detained here were the same bunch of people. He now realized that his master Tang Xiu carried out revenge for him. Further, it was a machination that would kill two birds with one stone. Time fleeted by and half an hour passed in the blink of an eye. The brutal killings inflicted huge losses on both sides. Even though Vulcan with the Sacred Flames members he led faintly had the upper hand, all the disciples of Tang's sect just kept watching the dozens of surveillance footage intently. There was not the slight sympathy in their eyes and instead, wishing that the battle of the two sides became more intense. Suddenly, Tang Guang pointed at one of the surveillance screens and called out, "These bunches of Sacred Flame are gonna be unlucky. The Celestial Wizard clan seems to be going all out now. You guys take a look at them. Some hundreds of their experts are catching up and they're quite fast." Tang Xiu shifted to the said surveillance screen and saw hundreds of experts of the Celestial Wizard clan led by a hulking man, storming over lightning fast towards the battlefield. Their speed was indeed very fast. After some estimation, Tang Xiu judged that some of these experts should be at least comparable to nascent soul stage cultivators. Suddenly, his focus shifted and his countenance turned more serious. There were two figures that moved much faster than those nascent soul stage experts, overtaking the hundreds of people and the first to arrive on the battlefield. Further, each of their strikes brought fearsome might and the joint attack of these two figures killed tens of Sacred Flames experts in the blink of an eye. Spirit Formation Stage. These two are at least comparable to the Spirit Formation Stage. This Celestial Wizard clan seems to have deeper heritage than we think. At present, Tang Guang, who had broken through the Spirit Formation Stage, muttered with a grim face. Tang Xiu nodded in response and added, "That's right. They're indeed experts at Spirit Formation Stage. Further, that black-robed old fogey should be comparable with a Spirit Formation late-stage expert. If anything, this is quite interesting, though. Them coming out in a full swing just saved us some time to storm their nest to obliterate them." Having said that, Tang Xiu shifted to Mo next to him and ordered in a deep voice, "Contact Singluan and tell him to return immediately with the experts of Dark Shaman clan. These hundreds of experts from Celestial Wizard clan have joined the fray, so Singluan's group won't affect the situation even if they join the battle." "But Grand Master, The Sacred Flame may suffer heavy losses with these hundreds of Celestial Wizard Clan's experts enter the battlefield, right? Tang Guang hesitantly said, you see, they're now losing the momentum and many of them even began to flee. No worries. Tang Xiu lightly smiled and said, the battle won't be over that easily. Although the Sacred Flame lost over 1,000 people since the battle began, the Celestial Wizard Clan also lost more than 200 people. Even if the members of Sacred Flame flee, the Celestial Wizard Clan's people will also be in hot pursuit to hunt them. Hence, the battle on the fourth island won't end within 2 hours. As expected, the battle on the fourth island didn't stem beyond Tang Xiu's estimation. Even though the experts of Sacred Flame Organization kept retreating, they were still entangled by the experts from Celestial Wizard Clan. The two sides fought again for more than 3 hours, and only less than 4,000 Sacred Flames experts were left behind, whereas the rest of them fled to the fifth island with a lot of scars. Boss. Singluan rushed to the monitoring room with his 5 guardian elders. Tang Xiu turned to him. After seeing that Singluan didn't have any scars, he smilingly said, well done. Some of you have used wizardry arts and those members of Celestial Wizard Clan will soon find out about it. It won't take long for them to give chase. Well, the good thing is, those ragtags from the Sacred Flame didn't escape to the 6th island as previously planned but fled toward our 5th island, though. Singluan stared blankly and wondered. If they are escaping to our position, will it make the Celestial Wizard Clan be on guard? I don't think so. Tang Xiu sneered. The more profound the heritage of the clan, the more conceited they will be. The Celestial Wizard Clan lost so many people, they will never give up. Just wait here. The Celestial Wizard Clan will definitely storm over here after recovering and making some adjustments. Having said that, Tang Xiu got up and issued an order in a deep voice. Head to the seashore to greet those Sacred Flames bunch. Once they land on the island, immediately place them on the defense net with us. Their role as cannon fodder is over, but they still have to take part in the battle. You've planned all this previously, haven't you, Sect Master? Qi Nan suddenly asked. A man of brains can see it through, but don't bother to say it, you know. Tang Xiu smilingly replied. It took only a flash for not only Qi Nan to realize it, but also all the experts of Tang sect in the room. They finally realized that even if anyone wanted to get to the 6th island as quickly as possible, they still had to pass by the 5th island first. Further, there was still also the concern of the enemy pursuit who chased them to the 6th island once they arrived there. Thus, it would be better to head straight to the 5th island and join the Tang sect members to face the Celestial Wizard Clan since the odds of winning would also be greater. No one can compare to Sect Master in machinations and schemes, indeed. At the moment, the same thought filled the minds of all the Tang sect's disciples in the room. However, recalling that the bereaved dogs of Sacred Flame would soon flee to their positions, they quickly rushed outside and informed the others to be ready for battle at any time.